You go to the bank, and banks still have hours from, like the 1700s. So, I had to do that early. Anyway, let's read the newspaper. Evening newspaper, the Washington Post Evening Edition, which is just the morning edition that you don't read until the evening. We are presented by Satura Veritas, and we are not sponsored by Juul. Nicotine for your brain. The Washington Post. Democracy dies in the darkness. Headlines. Top headline. White House readies emergency plan. Whatever the hell that means. Pompeo assails Obama's mistakes. Speech on Middle East delivered in Cairo is called petty by critics. Declaration would face challenges. Army Corps budget eyed for funding border wall. Wow. President Trump and border agents salute a U.S. Border Patrol helicopter as it flies over the Rio Grande during the president's visit to the U.S.-Mexico border in Mission, Texas. Trump has said he may invoke national security powers to start wall construction. Mexico to pay directly. I never said this. Yeah, you did. Trump, you did. You said Mexico will pay for the wall. I remember. There's plenty of videos. Strapped workers turn to selling possessions. That is sad as fuck. White House stretches rules to restore services. Wow. New business plan, moving to Canada. Foreign tech workers uneasy about potentially changing visa workers are looking north of the border. Well, Trump has started the brain drain of our country because we let the stupid people into the White House. Now all the smart people have decided to move to Canada. Awesome. Denials unravel. Cardinal Donald Ville told the Vatican of sexual misconduct claims against ex-Cardinal Theodore McCarrick. Returning to the workforce. As the economy grows and the pool of unemployed workers dries up, employers cast wider nets. Employers cast wider nets. Interesting. The Nation. Democratic leaders, after a closed-door meeting with Attorney General nominee William P. Barr, were unconvinced he would be unbiased about the Mueller probe. Is that better on my hair? Let's see how tall we can make it. There we go. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome H. Powell predicted the economy won't go into recession this year. Louisiana announced a plan that would make it the first state to adopt a Netflix model to pay for hepatitis C drugs. Wow. President, that doesn't make any sense. Louisiana announced a plan that would make it the first state to adopt a Netflix model to pay for hepatitis C drugs. What is a Netflix model? How does that pay for drugs? What? I don't understand that. I'm going to read that just because I don't fucking understand what the hell that means. President Trump's former lawyer, Michael Cohen, agreed to testify publicly next month before the House Oversight Committee. That's good. In Venezuela, President Nicolas Maduro has begun a new 6-year term as the country's political battles deepen. In Congo, opposition candidate Felix Tshisekedi was declared president, deepening suspicions about the electoral process. South Korea's president urged the U.S. and North Korean leaders to move past abstract talk to concrete action as they meet again. I guess South Korea's president is pro a wall. He wants concrete action. Bad joke. The economy. Macy's shares fell more than 18% after the company released disappointing holiday sales figures. allowing retail stocks. Oh, other retail stocks followed suit. Yeah, have you ever been to a store lately? Like, I rail on Bezos, but going on Amazon.com is much nicer than going to a store. Going to a store is a pain in the ass. It's like, now that online shopping exists, I don't know. It's hard to go back to regular shopping. It just feels dumb. Sorry, teabag. The Air Force accepted. Oh, cat food. The Air Force accepted an order for new Boeing KC-46A Pegasus tankers despite known flaws with the aircraft's design. Known flaws? Wow. Didn't a former Boeing exec, just become Secretary of Defense? A Google shareholder is suing the company's board of directors, accusing it of failing investors by covering up sexual misconduct and giving big payouts to harassers. The region, the Purple Line, will open at least a year late and $215 million over budget, the contractor told Maryland transportation officials. Jesus Christ. A Maryland man was sentenced to about 200 years in prison for a gun attack on a police station that left an officer dead. Have they already started work on the Purple Line? Oof. Mike Miller, Maryland Senate president, said that he has prostate cancer, but he would not step aside. The Opus Dei priest accused of groping a woman was never officially restricted from ministry after transferring to Chicago, church officials said. Whoa. Wake-up calls, where to find breakfast sandwiches to die for and morning meals below $6. A crisis in khaki. President Trump dresses for the hell on the border fantasy he created. Wow. What should we read? I'm curious about this Netflix model. I also kind of want to know where to find breakfast sandwiches. I'm trying to become more of a morning person. So let's read the breakfast sandwiches first. Inside. So where do I find that? Breakfast sandwiches weekend. Is that a whole nother section? Sports. Weekend. Whoa. I've never read this before. I never even noticed this on Friday. The weekend. It's like a whole nother little mini newspaper. Breakfast sandwiches to lure you from bed. Plus, where the day's most important meals cost $6 or less. You know, I don't believe the breakfast is the most important meal of the day. I just refuse to believe that. Whoa. These look good as fuck. You'll never look at a frozen egg and sausage biscuit the same way. I've never looked at that. Very good. The Bacon Banh Mi at Bird's Eye Coffee Bar. 14th Street. Damn. Biscuit Sammy at a bake joint. Man, these all look so good. Glenn's Garden Market has a good one. You have to wait for the weekends to order the Grains and Greens sandwich. $10.99 and pictured on the weekend cover. Oh my god. That looks really good. Doesn't it? Dang, Washington Post. This is some pretty good breakfast sandwich reporting. Whoa, it's a fucking waffle filled with egg yolk. That looks good. That looks pretty good. Wow. Sunrise Cafe. Heat to Spot. Georgia Avenue's Heat to Spot. Fava Pot. Wow. Alright, so there's good breakfast sandwiches. The weekend, it's a cool little thing that they have in the Washington Post. I am not sponsored by the Washington Post, but Washington Post, if you want to have some influencer marketing and pay me, I'm getting over, for the past 4 videos, I've been getting at least 3 viewers per video. 3 unique viewers, and that doesn't include myself. So if you want to expand your readership, I'm just saying you could sponsor this show. Or not sponsor. Juul not sponsors the show. Juul, the safe alternative to Nick caffeine or whatever it is. All right, let's read about the Netflix model. Netflix model. Scientists are getting closer to solving one of astronomy's biggest mysteries. All right, well, I'm reading that next, but Louisiana adopts Netflix model to pay for hepatitis C drugs. Louisiana officials announced Thursday that their state would become the first to move forward with a new way to pay for expensive hepatitis C treatments, which could dramatically increase the number of people who can be cured of the liver damaging disease and provide a model for others struggling to afford the medications. Instead of paying for each prescription individually, Louisiana Governor John Bell Edwards D. said the state would essentially pay a subscription fee to a drug company, an alternative payment arrangement that has become known as the Netflix model. Okay, hold on. What is this? Instead of paying for each prescription individually, Governor John Bell Edwards D., he's a Democrat, said the state would essentially pay a subscription fee to a drug company, an alternative payment arrangement that has become known as the Netflix model. The state would then get unlimited access to the drug, similar to how consumers pay a monthly fee to stream unlimited television shows and movies. Wow, that's actually a really freaking good idea. That makes it very hard for. Wow, that is very interesting. The state's goal is to treat 10,000 people with hepatitis C by 2028, about a quarter of its infected population on Medicaid and in prison, instead of the slow trickle of about 1,000 people it treated last year at the cost of $35 million. Damn. Oh, because the drug costs $84,000. Wow, that's nuts. Scientists are getting closer to solving one of astronomy's biggest mysteries. Imagine a flash of radio energy so powerful it outshines the sun. Now imagine a flash like this going off nearly every minute all across the cosmos. These are fast radio bursts, some of the most enigmatic um, phenomenon phenomena in astronomy. Scientists don't know where they come from or what celestial event could be so dramatic yet common enough to produce thousands of bursts every day, but they think they're closing in on an answer. At the winter meeting of the American Astronomical Society this week, researchers at a powerful new Canadian telescope announced the detection of 13 new fast radio bursts, FRBs, over 2 months of observations. 6 bursts were found over the past 12 years. One of the newly detected bursts is a rare repeater. Researchers saw 6 flashes coming from the same spot in the sky, which they hope will make it easier to determine the source of the signal. Only one other repeating FRB has ever been detected. This sudden rush of tantalizing clues has delighted astrophysicists. These things are coming to us from halfway across the universe, and we don't really know anything about them, said McGill University's Sriharsh Tendulkar. Sriharsh Tendulkar, a lead author of one of 2 papers in the journal Nature about the findings. Isn't that exciting? Work on the Canadian Hydrogen Intensity Mapping Experiment, CHIME, for short, which Tendulkar and his colleagues used for their research, was not quite complete when the initial 13 FRBs were detected in July and August. However, the instrument, which maps that is so fucking cool. The instrument, which maps the 3-degree wide swath of the sky each night, was already a dramatic improvement over more traditional telescopes, which can only focus on a single spot. Oh, wow. That's really cool. CHIME has been fully operational since September, and scientists on the project have hinted that at least 100 more bursts will be reported in the weeks to come. With fast radio bursts, it's always felt like more answers we get, the more questions we have, said Sarah Burke Spoler, an astrophysicist at West Virginia University who was not involved in the research. But I think we're reaching the peak of that mountain. Shami Chatterjee, a FRB researcher at Cornell University, agreed. This field is about to break wide open, he said. When the first FRB was detected in 2007, many scientists thought it had to be the result of some telescopic mix-up. The signals are so brief that scientists thought they must come from something incredibly small, no bigger than New Jersey. Yet they pack as much energy into a millisecond as the sun emits all day. They are also dispersed. High-frequency wavelengths arrive earlier than lower-frequency ones, which suggests they travel long distances across vast expanses of space to reach astronomers' radio dishes. Scientists have scores of theories about what might create such potent signals. Spinning cores of collapsed stars, powerful magnetic fields around black holes, the fog of dust and gas from which new stars form, but only one burst has ever been traced back to its source. A repeating burst called FRB 121102 flickers periodically from a dim dwarf galaxy 3 billion light-years away. The repeater detected by CHIME bears a strong resemblance to FRB 121102, said University of Toronto astrophysicist Cherry Ning. How do you say NG? It's just two consonants. Lead author of the second Nature paper. Both have what Ning. I don't know how to say that. He or she sounds, or they sound very smart, but I can't say their name. I'm sorry. Distinctive patterns in the timing and frequency of the signals calls structure. Both have what Ning calls structure. Distinctive patterns in the timing and frequency of the signals. It's really tempting to think that this is maybe a defining feature, Ning said, but we have to be careful. We still have a sample size of only 2. Good point. The CHIME researchers are working with antennas in central New Mexico to pin down the galaxy to which the second repeater belongs. The fact that it repeats gives them a good chance of spotting it again. They hope that tracing the radio signal of a known visible object may reveal what produced it. But that is just one of the riddles associated with this fantastic phenomenon, said Tendolkar. Scientists are still debating whether repeating FRBs come from the same source as the one-time flashes or instead are a distinct type of event. They do not know whether the bursts are like flashbulbs, lighting up the sky in every direction, or focused beams, which would require less energy but must be more frequent for Earth to see so many of them. It is possible, he said, that there are several types of FRBs, each created by a different celestial cataclysm. The mystery of fast radio bursts has always been a large part of their appeal, Ning said. I think we are just drawn to anything unknown. I agree with that. She is just as thrilled by the revelations that will emerge from solving this mystery. FRBs are among the few types of signal that interact with the diffuse fog of electrons existing among galaxies. If scientists can figure out how FRBs ought to look when they leave their source, they may be able to probe the intergalactic medium by studying the way the signals change. We are very far from that yet, Ning said. However, she said the promise is what keeps her working. It could be a start to a whole new field in astronomy. Wow. We don't hear about this stuff as much. I feel like politics has taken over the news. Make politics boring again. That's what I want. I'm bored of politics. Politics has turned into pro wrestling. Doesn't feel real anymore. And that was the appeal to me. Group says pay concerns, furloughs at FBI pose threat to national security. I would think they do. To make ends meet amid shutdown, workers decide what they can do without. Jesus. Federal workers are American workers. Yeah, I'd say they are. Democrats say rules being bent to ease shutdown's fallout. More federal workers are being told to work without pay. I wouldn't work without pay. Oh my god. Sorry, I just want to show you this cat. Oh, look at this guy. Man, what a pretty guy. He looks like a statue right now. Anyway, just a little cat tidbit sidebar thing. I need to start having more organization on these shows because I don't think I'll ever grow past 3 viewers if I continue to swing them. I think what I'm going to start doing is doing like a outline before I start so I know what I'm talking about. Tensions rise in federal prisons as weary unpaid guards work long hours. I'm walking in here and doing my job every day, and it's very dangerous. Jesus. TSA agents at National Airport are among those deemed essential, so they're working without pay and with low morale, advocates say. I mean, if I was them, I would just stop working. If I was TSA agents, just don't go to work tomorrow. If the air system of this country shut down for even a day, guaranteed they'd reopen the government in an hour. I think every TSA agent should just stay home in the whole country. That's what I would do. If you're not getting paid, screw them. They don't have any loyalty to you, obviously. They're making you work without pay. What are you doing? If the adults in the room refuse to act like adults, then the people need to start acting like adults. And if you're not going to pay the people don't have to work. I think that's a pretty normal opinion. Do you know how much money this country would lose if the airline system ground to a halt? They'd open the government. Guarantee. Make America's parks open again. I agree. Walls shouldn't block access to parks. Thank you, Columbia Sportswear. Although I got to admit, I'm more of a I don't know, Patagonia, North Face. What do people buy? Canada capitalizes on visa anxiety to poach talent. Of course, that's what they're. I mean, when you elect a dumb person, smart people don't want to work. Anyway, if you're a federal worker working without pay, I'm really sorry that the leaders of this country are failing you. I think you should just stop showing up at work until they open the government.